Hello, everybody. Welcome to Naughty or Nice with Miss Cassie. And tonight, my very special guest is Cogwell Gear.
Hello, everyone.
I'm so glad you're able to make it to the show.
Me too. The elements were against me today, but I made it. Safe and sound.
Yes, yes. Oh, and he was terrific, too. It's the first time I've had a guest, wanted to make sure, absolutely, I'm going to be there. I forgot my cell phone, but honest, I will be here. Which was awesome.
Well, I figured that I would extend you the courtesy, just like all the presenters for LA Next Gen has extended me, so it works out for everybody.
It does, and that's one thing that I've always admired about you. You're very personable, and you seem to adhere to a certain protocol, and you're polite, and you respect your fellow man. I mean, that's one of the first things that impressed me when I met you, and I forget whether it was at DomCon. It was before DomCon Atlanta, because I know that you and Gabriel at DomCon Atlanta that one time when I presented. Right. And I knew you from before, so I think it had to be one of the DomCon before then. I'm thinking.
I know that the very first time I met you was at
Thirst.
No, Soul's Shibari Soiree.
Oh, really?
Quite a few years ago, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago. Oh my God.
I was about 2 months into the scene.
Oh my God.
All shy and I don't know what to do.
Oh my God.
Fast forward a few years and here I am.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I mean, you saw my boobs.
It's okay. At some point you probably saw mine too.
I know. So. Like, we haven't seen everybody's boobs in the scene. Oh my God. It's so nice that people recognize me by my face now instead of my boobs. I mean, it's a little thing, but, it really means a lot to me.
It does.
So, when I first met you, were you in service to Sir Gabriel, or was this just a working relationship? I know that you were with Ravenblood Leather.
It's been a very long road. When I first met Gabriel, I was actually a part of a different household.
Yeah.
And things happened, the household broke up, and then, I had known Gabriel from, hanging around at Passive Arts and a few other places, and one day he asked, hey, do you have any sales experience? I'm going to DomCon LA, and people fell through. And I first got my name when I worked at a watch store in Mission Viejo.
Yeah.
So I shortly thereafter became Mr. Gear, and then I went to DomCon, and it was an amazing experience because I was only about 2 years in the scene.
Yeah.
And I've only been to play parties and a few classes, and to have 3 days of just nothing but kink, surrounded by beautiful people doing their beautiful things, it was amazing. And shortly after we finished that DomCon, I started to be in service to, at the time, Gabriel and Ravenblood Leather, and then it all just kind of went from there.
Yeah, it's been an amazing journey,
Yeah, it is.
And I know I always enjoy stopping at the booth when you're there, because your passion for the leather goods shows,
yeah.
And just your passion behind the family and everything, and where can I get an assistant like you? Honest to God, I mean, you are a rare find.
If Mistress Melissa was here, she'd be making fun of me for how much I'm blushing right now. But, there are wonderful people out there. I've been meeting them every chance that I've gotten in the scene. Some people are starting to phase out. Like, unfortunately, Charlie B just announced that he's leaving the scene.
Yes.
And, with a lot of the people I've met with LA Next Gen, they are showing a lot of passion, like I did when I first started. A lot of just oomph to get started, learning everything and everything like that. So I'm probably out there in some other form, hopefully some other shape. But the community keeps growing and keeps blossoming, and I love seeing that.
Yeah.
So there are people, joining every day that, are just fantastic people. So you'll find an assistant.
Yeah. I don't know. I've interviewed so many over the years, and yeah, a lot of them don't really understand what service is, or what protocol is, or what it means to be part of a DS relationship. Part of a family.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them, they aren't in it for that. They're just in for some instant gratification, and they want to get off. And they always want to ask me, will you peg me or what? It's like, what? I am not into that.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the things that I do. If these are things you enjoy, if you are willing to do service for me, yes, it will be a fair trade-off. You'll get plenty of play, and I'll get somebody that can help me, because, it's like I have been hauling my own toy bag and stuff for years, and then I finally got to the point, so many people set me up for scenes on stage, I can do it solo now. But such is life. I know, I have had two really good sons along the way. One had to leave me. There was illness in his family, and he was called back home to take care of them. Mm-hmm. Best boy I ever had. Just a pure soul. He reminds me a lot of you, actually. And his dedication to service was amazing. And I don't know, I just wanted to protect him all the time. I'm just, I want to keep you from these harpies in the scene. I just really, really treasured him because I knew what a rare gift he was.
I'm right there with you with my girl V, actually. We met through mutual friends a couple years ago, and then we just hit it off again one time, and we've been together ever since. And it's been like about a year and a half now.
Has it?
And it's been interesting because we've been looking at, doing the contract and collar. Mm-hmm. And I've written about 60 or 70 different contracts.
Oh my goodness.
And none of them work.
Oh.
They just don't feel right. And I had a long conversation with her, actually just yesterday.
Yeah.
And it ended up being that we are not really a DS dynamic. Yeah. We are more daddy dom and brat.
Oh.
Because that seems to fit us. We're very playful with each other. Mm-hmm. We roughhouse all the time. But when it comes down to work,
yes,
we get the job done. So we love having that distinction between the two sides.
That's great. It's all about exploring who you are and what your dynamic is about. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of books and rules and ideas of what this whole lifestyle is about. But ultimately, it comes down to the individuals involved and what works for that group of individuals.
Exactly.
I have seen families out there, and they go through subs like tissue paper because they've got this protocol that they do. And they expect this, and this. And what they don't realize is that they are basically using human beings as tissue paper. They have unreal expectations. They don't take into account that every person on this planet is a different individual, that perhaps you might have to tweak it a little bit for each person.
Exactly, yeah.
But then again, we all learn at a different pace. And perhaps they need to do it their way for a while to figure it out. Or perhaps they'll never figure it out because there are some people out there, I guess, who like to be disposable. So, I do not want to deny anybody the pleasure of that.
Well, one thing that I've definitely learned over the years is that there are two books I will recommend to anyone who hasn't read them. And that is the new bottoming book and the new topping book. Because it goes through, what is BDSM, what to expect, how to negotiate, how to find a partner. What is that fine line between having fun and abuse. It also touches on the spirituality sense of BDSM. Mm-hmm. So with that, I've learned a great deal just between those two books, along with the several other books that Master Gabriel has had us read.
So are you guys actually physically writing out contracts then?
Well,
because usually that's not a good idea, legally
well,
speaking.
it's not a legally binding contract. It's more of just a guideline of.
Well, because every Dom I've ever had has refused to do that.
Well, if that works for that person.
Well, not that I asked, but no, that they just they just refuse to do that.
Well, we like to have it more as a reminder than a contract. It's like, you know what, this is what we're doing. These are the rules that we follow. And if things need to be changed or tweaked, it's not the fact that the contract is legally binding and everything else. It's a living entity by itself. So Master Gabriel and I have had several discussions about this, and he says that the majority of the changes need to be done before it's signed. And I say that as long as both of us agree, it can be changed almost daily. It all really depends on just who you are as a dom and sub or top, bottom, anything like that.
Well, that's true.
So yeah, that's what the contract is to me. It's not a cell phone contract where
no,
if you break
most people I know do not have a written contract. It's more of a verbal understanding.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some basic rules to most dynamics, and it's usually just a few that are like set in stone, and then everything else pretty much is fluid, depending on their dynamic.
Right. Especially with with today being so busy for everybody, verbal things can be taken out of context.
Mm-hmm.
Verbal things can be forgotten. That's why we like to write it down and just go, nope, here it is. We wrote it down. We need to follow these, both the dom's expectations and the sub's expectations. That's all it is to us, really. It's just the constant reminder of what our relationship is and how it can change or how it can stay the same.
Very good. Everybody's got a different way of doing this, and this is what I love about this lifestyle. And I have seen some that, dynamics that work fantastic, and others, are just a train wreck in progress.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of train wrecks, I saw a hand waving over there. Was there somebody in that chat room?
Yeah, there's quite a few people in the chat room. There's quite a few people that are watching the show. If you're watching the show and you're not in the chat room, please go to TSRnetwork/watchlive.com and come and watch us and, come and join the chat room. We have, so far, we have Star and Steven in the chat room. We have Bird Brim. We have Gabriel. We have Gregory. And a few more people have been popping in and out. And somebody said, Gabriel said, speaking of Mistress Melissa Gear, what does happen when you lock Sir out of a hotel room? Laughing out loud.
I love that. What happens?
There is a funny story. I believe it was DomCon Atlanta. And those hotel room doors where it has that weird latch?
Yes.
So you can lock yourself in at the end of the night?
Yes.
I had shut the door to go take a shower, and apparently it was just up enough so that when Master Gabriel entered the room, it caught, and I locked him out of the room. And so he's yelling at me through the door, Gear, open the damn door! And all I can hear is his voice, so I'm shouting back from the shower, hi, friend! Just being silly and, stupid. I open the door, and he yells at me, Gear, open the door. So I immediately just turn pale white, going, this is not going to end well, is it? So the very next day, we're in the vendor hall, and Mistress Melissa walks up and goes, Gabriel, I think Gear should wear some of the items that you sell. I mean, it's, show it off. And he gets this look on his face of just pure giddy doom. It's kind of like a...
I have seen that look on his face.
I know. Okay.
Oh,
right.
yes. Yes, we all have.
So he tells Mistress Melissa to dress me up however she wants.
Oh,
And then
I
she
love
gets
it.
that same face of like,
I know that face on her. I love it when she gets that face. Oh my God. She channels some of the most ridiculous, amazing crap on the face of the earth. She's wonderful. Oh my God.
So 5 minutes later, I'm wearing a strap-on harness, demi gloves, which are very fashionable gloves, and I just look absolutely ridiculously beautiful. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I looked hot.
Ridiculously beautiful. You heard it here.
Um,
And look at this face. I mean, the skin is just, oh my gosh, look at this. Your pores are incredible. Oh, you must look so pretty.
Oh, I did. And Mistress Melissa grabbed the dragon tongue that was hanging out of the strap-on harness and was dragging me through the vendor hall by my dragon tongue cock.
I love it.
That's what happens when you lock Master Gabriel out of his hotel room.
Oh my God, I love her creativity. You know, and I just love the energy of your whole family and everything. You guys just seem to mesh together so well.
It all grew very organically, which has been a complete blessing. First, it was just, Gabriel and I, and me, in service to him and his company. Then came my girl V, and Birdie, and Quinn, and my buddy Exodus, if he's watching. Hey, what's up, buddy? And, it's been growing almost exponentially over the last year, which has been phenomenal.
Yeah, it seems like your family's expanded quite a bit in the last year.
And we love everybody that has come in, and everything has just been very smooth. Nothing has been forced. Like, oh, this guy, I don't really like this guy, but I'll put on a fake smile. No, we genuinely hang out together.
No, you guys all genuinely seem to really dig what's going on, and it seems to be very solid dynamic. Because Quinn was quite young when she hooked up with Sir Gabriel. And I was a little concerned. She's new to the scene and everything. But after seeing the way your family has involved and everything, I couldn't be happier. She could not have landed in a better situation. And, and I thank the gods for that, because I worry about all those girls. They're so young when they enter this scene. And I've seen good situations, but I've seen a lot of not so good things go on, because those really, face it, you've seen a lot of them skirted away quite quickly, before they really get a chance to understand what this is all about.
Exactly. I call those the 6-month shelf life kinksters.
Yeah.
Because they'll get into the scene, and either someone will immediately slap a collar on them and pull them away and go, no, you can't talk to anybody else. And then bad things happen, and they leave, thinking that that's all of us. Then there are those that just go and play with everybody, regardless of who they are or what their reputation is, and then get hurt and leave the scene. So that's kind of why I was so driven to start the class that I do called LA Next Gen.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that around to that, because we really needed to discuss that.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, this Saturday we have our special guest, Miss Cassie.
Hi.
Doing an introduction to rope bondage.
Yes, indeed. And we'll discuss all sorts of fun stuff, like types of rope, some good basic bondage skills, and you'll leave with a basic knowledge of what kind of rope you might want to play with, and a couple of ties that you can probably use that night.
So should our attendees bring their rope to practice on each other?
I highly recommend that, but I always bring a couple of extra hanks of loaner rope that I keep for the classroom. But I can't supply everybody. I only have about a half dozen hanks. Available. But, if you don't have it, don't worry about it. There's got to be a tire and a tie-e anyways. So usually I know in my classes, no matter the amount of attendees, it always works out. There's always somebody to tie somebody. or somebody's got enough rope. For whatever reason, I don't know, rope bondage just happens.
Well, that's the great thing about it is rope can end up turning into anything, I found.
Oh, yes.
It can suspend you, it could just do an arm, it could do a full chest piece, whereas other implements, it's made for that specific thing. So I started out with rope, then I started going towards leather because Raven Blood leather.
Yes. Yeah. Oh,
and I've
my
been
God.
loving that.
Yeah, and Raven's Blood leather stuff is just exquisite. They do stuff that nobody else is doing out there. I mean, I fell in love with your leather roses. Those things are absolutely beautiful. You know, I have yet to get one, but every time I see your booth, I always have to go over and check them out, and then I'm always like, what's new? And they always have something new, and it's different from everybody else. I'm telling you, you guys got to check them out. But we're talking about LA Next Gen. We'll get back to the leather.
With LA Next Gen, we've had quite a few people request a introduction to bondage, introduction to rope bondage, shibari, things like that. So I'm very glad that we were able to get you in on the 27th, because you teach 3 classes at Sanctuary?
Yes, I teach 3 classes a month.
Okay.
I teach a class from 12 to 2 on 2nd and 4th Saturdays, and then I teach an evening class on 3rd Wednesdays from 7:30 to 9:30.
And also, we've seen Miss Cassie do all sorts of fun things with rope on stage for, Thirst or...
Oh, yeah, I never get to do
like
that often enough. It's just been forever since I performed for Thirst.
Well, Thirst kind of took a hiatus. Then we came back for Sanctuary Marketplace, and then we did Thirst right after. And right now the schedule for that is kind of up in the air, because with everything else that we have, we co-host Gentlemen in Charge, we do LA Next Gen, we do a lot of different things behind the scenes, including getting our household together for just some fun.
Yes. Oh, no, you guys have done so much in the last couple of years, because I remember, years ago when I used to perform with Thirst all the time, and Gabriel was doing that quite often, and that was his focus. And then, everything that he's gotten into in, say, the last year and a half to 2 years has just exploded. And his responsibilities have gone everywhere, and he has become like the MC of Sanctuary. He is the voice of Sanctuary at this point, If there's an event, a big event, he is there on stage.
He has been the voice of DomCon Los Angeles, Atlanta. Little bit of announcement is that he's probably, it's still not completely confirmed, to be the MC at the Lair of AVN.
Really?
Yeah. And that is going to be very exciting.
Oh,
too.
That's huge. That's huge. I know it's a big to-do, because I know I'm going to be there for a couple days as well.
So will I, actually.
Will you really?
They have asked me to perform as the Reverend Gear on stage for
Really?
AVN this year. And
that is cool.
It's giving me goosebumps thinking about it. It's going to be kind of fun.
Ah, see,
just a
you're
little fun.
growing, you're getting the following.
Well, that's one thing that I need to actually thank Master Gabriel for. Because when we met at Soul's soiree,
yes,
I was the wallflower in the back, just smiling like an idiot from ear to ear, going, I don't know what to do. There's naked people in bondage everywhere.
I know.
And then he has just helped chip away that introvert that I used to be. And now I'm up on stage doing all sorts of just despicable. Sometimes I stutter.
That's okay.
These despicable things that are just so hot with people on stage, including the Reverend Gear, which I just turn into kind of a good old Southern boy, and I talk about the Church of Leather.
The Church of Leather, amen. Tell us, brother, tell us more about this Church of Leather.
Well, my children, in the Church of Leather,
Oh, hallelujah! Tell us more.
We believe that all people are created equal to the point where we must smack the vanilla out of them.
Amen, brother.
Because the vanilla demons, they are out there, and they will cloud your soul, and they will make you watch CNN and MTV and all that other stuff.
Hellfire. Hellfire.
Blasphemy.
That angel Gabriel, come down and bless us over this horrid situation.
We have done a couple baptisms in the Church of Leather at Sanctuary LAX.
Did you cleanse their souls?
We saved them from hell and damnation.
Saved them, Lord Almighty.
We also had to do an exorcism.
No.
On our own little bit.
Oh my Lord. No, tell me not so.
She had a vanilla demon inside of her.
A vanilla demon? Damn you say.
And we came together as a community in Sanctuary LAX, and we pulled that demon out of her along with a vanilla Coke and a broom.
Well, holy shit, Brimfire.
And after a while, the demon finally released himself from her and tried to engage the Reverend.
No.
But I was ready.
You were? And what did you do, Reverend?
I whipped out the organ of the Church of Leather.
Yes, indeed. Lord Almighty.
And I stabbed the demon with my organ of the Church of Leather.
Lord. Tell it, tell it, tell it.
And he was smoked.
Oh, my God. You smoked the vanilla demon.
And if that vanilla demon ever does show his face in my neck of the woods, remember that I am the gear.
Amen. Amen. Can we have a blessing from the Reverend Mel?
Say what? We do have some blessings. We have Justin is in the chat room. Alan is in the chat room. Nip the cat kit. I can't say it. Knit the Kit is in the chat room. They're going to testify. They said, "Preach it, Reverend." And what else? There were some questions that. Let me scoot back a little bit. Okay, I can't find it. Bird wants to say, "Gear, tell us the story of your name."
Well, that. As I said earlier, the first job I had out of high school was at a watch and jewelry store, and they taught me to be, a salesman. They taught me to be a repairman. So one day, as I was kind of opening up this gorgeous $5,000-$6,000 watch, I looked at the movement inside of it. And everything had its place. Every sprocket, every gear, every time spring, every jewel was in its place. And I realized, as I'm taking it apart, trying to figure out why the hell this thing isn't working, one small gear had broken in the very center.
Oh, no.
And that was stopping the whole thing. And so I found kind of a beauty in the fact that everything has its place. And if it's taken out, the whole thing has changed.
It's true.
So that's where I adopted the name Mr. Gear.
Oh, that is cool. Yeah, and if you've ever seen an old watch and you've seen those gears, it's amazing.
It is wonderful. My household actually got together and got me an early Christmas gift. It's a pocket watch.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have, the standard metal casing. It's a glass casing, so you can see everything moving and ticking.
Awesome.
It is gorgeous.
Oh, I'll bet it is.
It is amazing.
Oh, I'll bet it is. It has to be fascinating. You're like wanting to tell what time it is, but you're like mesmerized by the gears. And before you know it, 4 hours have gone by, and it's like, oops.
That has happened. That's happened.
How did I know that? Oh, but I totally get it. I totally get it. There's something magical, about a time, it's like those old toys and stuff that, they were mechanized, and there wasn't a battery. You wound it up and it went.
Exactly, and there was an art to it. And now with everything being, digital, I'm kind of looking at it going, okay, well, it's nice that we have, grown in our, our technology, but I don't think the art is quite there anymore. Everything is made by machines and put together on a conveyor belt, where, you know, these old school watches were actually put together by one guy,
Mm-hmm.
and it took, you know, a couple days to even a week to actually put it all together.
Well, yeah, I totally get it. It's like I do not have the same passion for photography since it's gone digital.
Right.
I absolutely do. I miss handling the film and playing with the f-stop and playing with lights and textures and different speeds of film. I mean, I love to work in 200 speed, grainy black and white, because I could take pictures of shadows and textures and just, you know, make these works of art out of photographs. And with digital, I mean, yeah, you can do a lot of those effects, but I can't play with it the same way.
Exactly. And, you know, actually, Nip the Kit can agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
That's my girl V, and she loves photography. She has, you know, 2 really nice cameras,
Really?
and she just has a ball whenever she gets the chance to do a photo shoot. And we've done, you know, kinky photo shoots for friends of ours. She goes out. She had this really cool idea of taking, like, fruit and just dumping it into a bucket and, you know, taking the photo of the splash effect. And a lot of those photos came out just magnificent.
Yeah.
And she does not really play with Photoshop all that much if she really doesn't need to.
Yes.
And she can agree with you fully on that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Somebody else gets it. Well, there's just something so fun about actually playing with the mechanics of stuff.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, and it's like I do okay with digital, but it's just, nah, I like playing with the other stuff. It was so, well, see, I grew up, my mom was an artist, and, you know, I can't tell you how many times she turned the kids' bathroom into a dark room. And she would be developing her own film for all these different art projects. And the one thing that really sticks out in my mind is the metal etchings, where they were actually taking the negatives and etching the photograph onto metal. And they were most amazing pictures, you know. And I know they could still do that with the digital and stuff, but to not, you know, do that whole with the chemicals, and it's like goes like this, and it like magically appears. It's like, you know, that you miss out on that with computers.
You do.
You know, and then you don't get high from the chemicals inhaling them. And see, there are other benefits you miss out of in this computer age. You can't sniff airplane glue accidentally anymore. You know. I'm sorry, I was a kid in the 60s, you know, before they made a lot of these rules, you know, and, you know, you put your kids on, you know, I remember my nephews had beepers when they were kids, and now every kid's got a cell phone. It's just like amazing. It's like those poor kids could not get away from jack shit. Holy moly.
Technology has definitely helped us. With me, my cell phone is my life. It has all my banking info on it. It has my vanilla...
I'm afraid to put my banking info on my phone.
It was terrifying today when I thought I had lost it.
Yeah.
It ended up just falling into my girlfriend's car, thank God. But, you know, LA Next Gen, all the info for that is on that phone. My personal account's on that phone. My kink account's on that phone.
You don't have it backed up on other stuff?
I have it backed up, but...
You know, there's like clouds all over the place.
Well, that's true. But with my phone, I'm able to use it during my 4-hour train rides every day.
Yes, I do understand. But see, I've got one of those nice little tablets.
I have one too, but it doesn't have internet connection unless it's Wi-Fi.
Oh.
So.
But I thought, does the metro or the train not have Wi-Fi? No, in San Diego for the Amtrak, we've got, when we take it from like the North County down to San Diego, we got Wi-Fi.
Well, Amtrak and Metrolink are 2 completely different things. Amtrak...
Yeah, you can tell I'm not originally from LA. Duh.
Yeah.
But I love you all. This has been a wonderful experience. Go ahead.
So it's just been interesting with taking the train back and forth and spending 4 hours a day promoting for LA Next Gen, you know, perving out I'll admit, I go on KNP and
You always need a kink break.
Yeah.
I know, because you know how many events I do. It's, between the show and all the classes, I'm always having to promote.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how long have you been doing LA Next Gen?
LA Next Gen started in June, actually.
June?
And June was just our launch party.
So it's only been like 6 months.
Yeah, we started promoting it at DomCon LA. We were handing out our cards, and we were collecting.
Yeah, I remember that.
Mm-hmm. And we had collected toiletries for the homeless people of Los Angeles.
Oh, I love when people do that.
What was really cool that no one thought of is one gentleman showed up with a gigantic Trader Joe's bag of the hotel's toiletries.
Really?
And just plopped it down and went, all right, have fun, and walked away. It was amazing looking at all that, just going, why didn't I think of that?
That is so freaking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know there's people out there that do that, and it's so appreciated, when they get that little bag of, just little soaps and shampoos and everything that, that stuff costs money, even at the 99-cent store.
Yeah, it does. So every little bit helps. And I think he said that guy just kind of tipped one of the maids $5 and just loaded up his bag,
Really?
and then took it downstairs.
That's freaking cool.
That was awesome. And during the holidays, I'm always astounded by this community with canned food drives,
Oh
the
my
blanket
God,
drives,
yes.
the toy drive.
Yes,
by
between
Kinky
Kinky Closet,
Yeah.
Mr. Cyan, and then all the other, dungeons and people in the community that are kicking up, events now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing. And every year there's more stuff. There's seasons beatings. Oh my God, there's so much stuff.
Yeah.
The fact that people want to give back, it always amazes me.
And the fact is that there are a few events that I've seen where it directly benefits the community. It benefits kinky people.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the events is for everyone in the LA area, everyone just in Camp Pendleton and everywhere else.
Yes.
And it's just astounding and heartwarming to see that coming from all these people, just giving to people they don't know.
Yes. And it is amazing. And one thing that I really love about LA Next Gen is you guys do not discriminate against age.
That is true. We do not have an age cap. And that all started because I was at Gentleman in Charge, and there was a gentleman there that had just celebrated his 70th birthday and had only been in the scene for 6 months.
Isn't that amazing?
It blew my mind. And he's sitting there going, okay, well, where can I learn about stuff? Because everything has an age cap, or you need to have a couple, or this or that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I pointed him in a few different directions, including your Shibari class.
Yes.
And
But
places like
there's
that.
not a specific senior kink group that I
Right.
know of in LA. I'm sure there's got to be a senior kink group out there somewhere. But we have a large aging. Good Lord. I like Shibari. Aging kink group, like nothing before. There's been people that have been in this. There was always like the traditional leather guard and everything that was hush hush, but I mean there's been a more open group and generational thing, and there's going to be an even bigger group coming on. So yeah, we do need to start thinking about all ages, and yeah, it might be time to start thinking about senior kink groups. Do you know any of those, Mel?
I am a senior kink, and I just wrote something on FetLife about it today. My thoughts of the younger generation coming in and taking over, that they are our future. It's very important that we educate them, respect them, teach them. We all have walked in their shoes of being beginners. In the chat room, they're talking and they're asking questions about, what's in store for 2015 for LA Next Gen. So they're interested in finding out.
Well, we don't have anything set in place yet because in January I was supposed to do a dungeon survival class. What to do and what not to do in a dungeon. But now we're doing AVN, and we're going to have to cancel the LA Next Gen event for January because there's going to be no one there. We're all going to be in Vegas.
That's true. Everybody's going to Vegas.
Yeah.
I'm going for a couple days, and and I had to like work it out in between rope classes because I'm not sure I can get anybody to cover my classes. And I'm not going to let you guys down. It's important if you like to tie rope.
That is true.
Yes.
So,
as you guys will discover at the beginning bondage class, you'll fall in love and want to come to all my classes.
Exactly. But for 2015, we have a lot of things up in the air. We have, I've been in talks with Miss Shay Flanagan.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to reschedule my class. It's going to be kind of a comedy class to help you all, sit there and go, okay, yeah, we know not to walk into the middle of a scene.
But you'll be surprised about how many people do not think about that or do not realize it's a scene.
Mm-hmm.
I talk about this in my rope classes. It's like, one of the things I do before I start tying rope is survey my scene space.
Exactly.
And if it's in a public space, I think about the possibility I may want to post somebody to watch my space while I play.
Exactly. And I have a perfect example of, I think it was 2 years ago at DomCon LA.
Mm-hmm.
I was playing with a friend of mine, and it gets crowded at the after parties at DomCon. It does. A lot of people show up, and the more the merrier. But if you see someone wielding a flogger,
yes,
keep your distance. Because I was having fun, just flogging my friend, someone had gotten way too close, and I hit them right in the face with my flogger on the backhand. And I wasn't really sorry.
Well, no, I ran into this at a booth where the guy, set me up in the demo area and says, please try out my floggers. And I'm, doing it, and I am not going crazy. Well, this woman comes wandering into the booth and almost gets hit by me because she didn't pay attention and then starts yelling at me. Didn't you see me? I was like, well, didn't you see me throwing a flogger?
Yeah. That's what we call the right of way. If someone is throwing a flogger...
Lucky for her, I had a little bit of hindsight, and that's why she did not get hit.
Yeah, exactly. I don't understand why people can see this going on and then expect some sort of, immunity to getting their butts kicked by accident.
I don't know.
It just makes me laugh every single time.
Well, it does, but it's just because they're oblivious,
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's usually what it is. They're, sometimes they're in la la land, and sometimes they are just one of those people.
Oh, yeah. And, I can understand, especially if you're new, you're walking into Narnia, basically. It's night and day going from, your vanilla life into a dungeon setting.
Well, that's true, and a lot of people, and it is important if you are somebody new on a scene, at least take one class in proper dungeon etiquette.
Exactly.
Every dungeon that you go into will have the rules of the dungeon posted somewhere, and it's really kind of important that you respect those. And it's really just basic stuff. Everything I ever needed to learn in life, I did learn in kindergarten.
Mm-hmm.
There will be nap time. There will be snack time. There's also, respecting other people and their stuff and not taking other people's stuff and, respecting their space.
Exactly.
And no tugging at teacher at the wrong time. It's all very basic stuff.
Now, a lot of people have seen this meme all over the internet, and it says common sense, so rare it's a superpower.
That's true, though.
That's all you need, though, going into a dungeon is common sense.
It does. It's like, don't eat anything that falls on the floor unless you want to eat some strangers come.
Yeah.
It happens. People get excited. Drip, dicks drip. Do you really want to be sitting in that, rolling in that? I had one sub, I said, you must bring a blanket. He says, but I like sitting on the cold dungeon floor. I said, that's not the point. Bring a thin blanket then. But you are not sitting directly on the dungeon floor. I will not allow it. You know, I know what goes on there. Not to mention that you don't know what people have been walking in and walking all over that floor.
Exactly.
You know, and it isn't just some of the, you know, kinky stuff that people get into. I mean, it's actual bacteria. You know, they may get a little antifreeze on their foot on the floor. It's like, personally, I don't want to rub my cooter in some antifreeze. I don't think that is a kink I want to indulge in.
You know, if we search on FetLife, there might be one or two people curious about that, though.
Well, yeah, I can think of one or two super, you know, submissives that are major masochists that would probably get into that. But that is a whole other story. The stories I could tell you about this woman are like, oh my God. But I admire her for doing it. It's like, I would never do that. But kudos to you, babe. Anybody in the chat room, Mel?
Yeah, the chat room's pretty full. There's quite a few people that are watching. If you are not in the chat room, please go to TSR Network and go into where it says live shows and come on in. They just asked a question. They go, will LA Next Gen be this year's at DomCon? And she's making fun of me. What is she? Oh, she's typing. What is she doing? What is she doing? I see it inside of my eye. And she doesn't realize something also, that I keep putting something up on the screen, on the big screen, that goes, chat room questions.
Saw that.
Because then I can get her attention, and she's been ignoring me.
Yes, I have.
And Alan's been eating a banana, so thank you, Alan, for sharing that. So yeah, we have quite a few people that are in the chat room talking and having fun and you know, conversing, and they just want to know if you're going to be at DomCon.
You know, that's a good question. I don't think we've thought that far ahead, because we have AVN coming up, we have a lot of different things coming up, and it slipped my mind. It is right around the corner, isn't it? Yeah. Man.
Yeah, it really is.
Well.
Yes. Yes, I already have to start writing my classes up.
Well, I would have to say at this point it's a maybe. I'd love to bring LA Next Gen back and maybe do a class, or maybe do the booth again or something, but we'll just have to see what.
Well, if nothing else, you'll have a presence at the Sanctuary booth while you're not.
I don't know about that either. I have not talked to anyone about DomCon this year yet, because I've been very focused on AVN and not wanting to screw up. Because we're bringing the Reverend back, and I want to make sure I don't sit there in front of everyone at the Hard Rock and go, I knew this. Yeah.
You know, it's just like performing anywhere.
Well, that's true.
You know darn well when you get up on stage, you can't see a damn thing because of the lights. I know I get up on stage, the audience is the furthest thing from my mind.
Well, it's not the audience.
No, except that I do like to kind of play off of them.
Yeah. The Reverend, the whole Reverend bit definitely plays off the audience. Everyone shouting, "Hallelujah, brother!"
Oh, I know.
Just
Don't
gets
you
me.
Just love it? Oh,
gets
my
me
Lord.
so revved up and ready to go.
Yes, Rev.
But the main thing that is a problem with me is I have ADD so bad that I will be in mid-sentence and squirrel. What were we talking about? What? Oh. And Gabriel loves to pull that on me. It's like, I will start a sentence. Hey, I think we should. Blah, blah, blah. Factory reset. I don't know what. And it happens all the time. So that's what I'm really trying to work on, is just having it so down pat that even if someone does something off to the side, I won't get derailed. Cool. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, you will find your way. You know, because I occasionally do have the memory short circuit. More often than I'd like to admit. Mm-hmm. But, you know, you find ways to roll with it. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, I find if I just keep kind of rattling on, I get back to the subject somehow. I don't know what happens, but it just comes full circle, and somewhere, you know, that little memory thing pops up.
Exactly. And I've noticed one amazing thing.
Yeah.
That a good old Reverend always has his hanky
Oh,
So I can go,
my.
what the hell was I talking about just now?
That is perfect. Oh, you just gave your little trick away, but you definitely got to do that just for effect.
Exactly.
Absolutely. I agree with it. See, you got it.
Mm,
You got it.
I'm trying to.
And there's a few other things that you'll figure out. You know, you do have the Bible and all that you know, the book that you can play with. The good book.
I normally don't bring
The
a
Good
book
Book
up
of Kink.
on stage with me.
You don't have the good book of kink.
Well, I've memorized
You've memorized the good
Good Book of Kink.
The good book of kink.
And
Yes.
the book of Mistress Melissa and the prophecy set down forth by Master Gabriel.
Oh, my Lord. Was that not Revelations? I know it gave me revelations. Give me an epiphany, too. I'm telling you. I saw stars. I swear to God.
Oh, I see stars
Our
all
gods,
the time.
Our devil, or whatever we're worshiping here. Are we worshiping something?
We are just worshiping. I almost lost my accent there.
Oh, Lord Almighty.
We are worshiping just the fact that we indulge in the things that we want to indulge in, and no one or nothing. Exactly, and no one and nothing will stop us from being who we want to be.
Well, that is true. I see some god-awful things out there. I saw one man get his bottom paddled off, and he asked for more. I swear to God, true story. True story. Pieces of his ass were hanging off. And he's like, more, mistress, more!
Well,
it's the most amazing thing. I swear to God, I thought I'd seen it all to that day.
Strange things happen with the power of leather. As a matter of fact, Master Gabriel can attest that I myself asked for second helpings of Dragon Tail one evening.
No, you say.
I
second
say
helpings.
so. Second helpings.
Second helpings. Good Lord. And did you have third and fourth after that, sir?
I did not, because I was more or less...
You did not indulge in the sin of gluttony?
I was more or less ground beef at that point, so it was time to stop.
Is there any more questions to add to this recipe, Mel?
People in the chat room is asking where they can get a hold of him, like his pet life name and all the other things, his groups and all sorts of things. Birdie's doing a very good job of trying to get all that information out there. So, yeah, they would like to know. They want you to start pimping it out.
Yes, pimp away.
Pimp it out.
Well, on Facebook, I am known as Cogwell Gear, and I'm not on there as much as FetLife, though. FetLife, I am just Mr. Gear. Mr. is completely spelled out, but if you abbreviate it, you'll get some guy in Singapore. That's not me.
No, and I always forget, so I always look up Raven's Blood Leather.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, you are attached to there, so I can find you that way.
And also, if you put into the search bar LA Next Gen,
that's true. That's another way to find you now, too.
Mm-hmm. Because we have a profile that's just LA Next Gen. We also have a group running that you'll end up seeing all of our events. Or you just wait, and I will spam the living crap out of your inbox every single time I have an event. Mr. Gear started a conversation. LA Next Gen started a conversation.
Yeah, so, I know. I got a little excited about, because you said I was going to be on there, and I was looking all over the place for the event announcement. And I finally found it when you started spamming us. I'm like, yes, I finally feel better. It's like I've had this on my calendar and events for a month.
Yeah, I've noticed that about your events. You have event listings all the way into like June or July of next year.
Oh, I do all the events for the entire year at one time because they are ongoing. Mm-hmm. And then I keep the event numbers, are all in sequence, which makes me feel a whole lot better. It really helps with the OCD. And also then I don't have to remember to book my meetings, book my events every month.
Right.
Those are set in stone. Those are going to happen. Plus, it gives my students a chance to see what dates the classes are. That way they know there's going to be a class on all those dates. And they can fit it in their calendar.
And that being said, LA Next Gen is every fourth Saturday. It normally follows GIC, except for January. We're not going to have a class in January because we're going to be in AVN.
Las Vegas, here we come, and we can't tell you about it because what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But of course, we have a big mouth. We'll probably talk about every little shit thing that happened.
It either stays in Vegas or ends up on YouTube or the TSR Network.
Yes, yes, you heard it here. You know we're going to talk about it. Oh, it's going to be a good time.
It's going to be a great time,
It
and so is
absolutely
this
is.
Saturday.
Oh.
This Saturday, we will have our class at Sanctuary LAX from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m.
That is true. Now, Miss Cassie is teaching one of her regular rope classes from 12 to 2, and then we will be doing an Intro to Bondage class for LA Next Gen from 7 to 9. And Mel is waving her hand all over the place frantically. What's going on?
Yeah, I want to thank Bertie in the chat room. There's a reason why. Bertie has a few times have put out some of the events of our shows up on FetLife and has been spreading the word. And one of the biggest problems that we have is me getting the information to her. So I'd like to explain to her any information that we put up on TSR Studios on FetLife. We feel free to copy it, spread the word, get more people to watch the shows, and you know, and we hope that all the people that are in the chat room all come in and be guests on the shows.
Absolutely. And we have like 2 TSR groups on FetLife where we post these events, and also in my Miss Cassie discussion group, I post these events. I post the show. I post anything I'm involved in, actually. It's my own private thing. Was there another question, Mel?
No, but I'm going to type in for them to say naughty or nice.
Oh, that is right. And we are at this part of the show where we need to decide if Reverend Gear is naughty or nice.
Now, the good old Reverend does tend to be a little naughty, but in the nicest way.
Really? How so?
I testify to the fact that I am naughty to the point where I enjoy baptizing. I enjoy pulling demons out and showing them the organ of the leather.
Oh, my Lord.
But I am also nice to the point that I do these things as well.
Oh, so you're like, you know. Well, what about the poor demons?
Well, the demons end up running back, and they end up coming back time after time, thinking that they can take a piece out of the good old gear.
They do.
But to this day, with the community behind me and the Church of Leather and the knowledge that we have all attained together,
oh, Lord,
it ends up that Vanilladom does not have anything against us.
Well, that's true. And, you know, besides the fact that they're all trying to join us, what's up, Mel?
Bird said naughty. Spank him. Nip says naughty and so naughty.
So oh my
Gabriel
Lord.
says he only pretends to be nice. Naughty. Bird said again, spank gear. Spank, 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 spank. Nip says munch, ha 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 ha.
Oh, your family loves you.
Yes, they do.
They really do.
And
the family that is naughty together stays together. You know it. You know, if you all share your perversions, one and all, we shall unite. Don't you think?
Exactly, because if you keep your kink to yourself, it's just a waste of good kink.
Oh, and not to mention that could just tear at your soul and bring you to a terrible demise.
That happens more than not.
It does. It does. And how many stories do we hear on the news of some poor reverend that kept these demons to himself and did not exorcise them, and then they exploded, and before you knew it, it was all over the news. If they had politely taken care of these demons in a proper way and worshipped Reverend Gear and the Church of Leather, they might not be in this predicament.
Well, this is true, and I always say that you need to be who you need to be. And if people try to tell you, well, that's wrong, and you shouldn't, be doing these things because they're taboo or they're weird, what's weird?
Well, exactly. Most of it's just fantasy roleplay, and the Lord wants you to be happy with your fantasies. So I say, indulge in the kink.
I actually have one more story exactly about
do.
this. In my first couple months in the scene, I was at Passive Arts, and I was talking to a gentleman who likes to dress up in very skimpy, like bright pink, baby and little girl clothing, and just have people in permanent marker just write all over his body.
Oh my
and
goodness.
Just the end result, if you were vanilla walking in like I was, is quite hilarious. And we struck up a conversation, and I just said, well, I'm still getting kind of used to the whole thing. Like, what if people think I'm weird? And he looks right at me with just all these nasty things written all over him. And he's just like, really? And from then on, I'm like, all right, cool. Well, I'm going to share my kinks with the world. All right, let's do this.
You're only as sick as your darkest secret.
Exactly. And I don't have any secrets anymore, which
isn't that
is
liberating?
good. The only thing that, I've kept it away from a few people, but everyone else in my life knows what I do, and they know that I'm going to AVN, and they know that I've performed at DomCon, and that I do all these things, and it is wonderful not to have those secrets anymore.
Well, absolutely. I know personally, I'm not out to everybody in my life. I respect their comfort level, but I also just don't lie about anything I'm into. If I get confronted, I fess up. Well, mostly because I'm really lousy at lying. It's so much easier just to tell the truth. But I have the option of disclosing the truth at an appropriate time.
That's true.
And I do value that certain people choose to have blinders to certain things, and I should honor the fact that they don't want to know. Oh, no, it's like respect all things.
Yeah,
And it is safe, sane, and consensual.
Exactly.
And if they haven't given their consent to know about this, do we really have the right to throw it in their face?
Absolutely not. Which is my whole feeling against vegans and vegetarians, throwing the pamphlets in my face while I'm having a burger.
Well, yeah, that really is just a bit much. I was vegetarian for 12 years, and I had to return to eating meat for health reasons. Not everybody can be a vegetarian. I support your right to be that way, but God damn it, sometimes I need to eat a hunk of beef. What time is it now? It's about that time?
Yeah, it's about that time.
Okay, have we let everybody know about all your precious websites and everything they need to do to get in touch with you?
Yeah, again, on Facebook, Cogwell Gear. On FetLife, you can find me, Mr. Gear. Or if you type in LA Next Gen, you can find either our profile or our group on FetLife. And join the group, stay in the loop with everything that we have going on, and we look forward to learning with you.
Absolutely. And if you are new to the scene, it is really important that you do get involved in something like LA Next Gen. Our BDS 101 classes, which I know they hold every Monday at Sanctuary. Our Rev Mel teaches incredible classes at the Lair Insights. There are resources and things out there for you. It's like, do not be afraid to ask questions. We love you. We want you to stay. We want you to have fun. And we are wrapping up the show. It is towards the end. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. You were a blast. I love Reverend Gear. This was too much fun. Did you have something you needed to add, Mel? I did get a guest for next week.
Yeah, and who is your guest? And then I have something to add.
My guest for next week is Dom Javier. He agreed to do the New Year's Eve show with me. Well, I know it's the day before New Year's Eve, but we're going to bang it up and have a great old time. He agreed to tell bad jokes with me, so this is going to be a lot of fun. Now?
I want to wish everyone that is watching the show a very happy holiday season. To all the atheists, that's your problem. And to all the people that, we're coming toward the end of the year. We are finishing a year of being back on the air. I want to say I'll do this next week to Cassie. I will pay her a tribute because it's amazing. She spends some an amazing time getting all her guests and showing up every week, and it is a major effort for us to put on these shows, but we really believe in live BDSM free TV. So you're amazing.
It was a pleasure to do these shows. Are you kidding?
And next week my guest will be Thisbe from San Diego.
Wow.
Talking about poly and all sorts of kinky stuff.
Oh yeah, Thisbe's kind of famous.
Yeah. Yep. Very famous.
Oh, you guys definitely have to tune in next week. Thisbe and Dom Javier. It's going to be a great week for shows. All right. Well, good night, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Gear.
Thank you very much. Good night, everyone.